Let's see. Pablo. Let's see. There we go. Attendees. Okay. Hello, Jill. Arvin, right on, man. Rick, que paso? Harry, right on, right on. John B. Two Jills. Bob in Texas, right on, right on. Appreciate y'all being here for sure. Oh, we got, okay, gotcha. We lost one Jill, but Denise, how are you? What's going on in California? All right. 7:30, man. 7:30. Appreciate y'all being here for sure. Let me get my chat thing here. Remember, if you're gonna hit chat, oh, right on. If you hit chat, do the drop down. It'll be a drop down. Say 2. And it'll say all panelists. I'm the only panelist, and so you'd want to make it all panelists and attendees if you're doing the chat thing. So just make sure you do chat thing, all panelists and attendees. Hey, everyone. That way everyone can see your chat. All right, cool. And then if you have, I always forget how to tell you how to do a Q&A thing. If you have a question, I forgot how to type it in there. So anyway, you might see a Q&A on your thing, and you could just type in the question that you have there for sure. All right, Bob in Arkansas. There is a Q&A here. All right, cool. Thanks. Good. All right, sweet. Chat. All right, cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Right on. Appreciate you guys being here for sure. So a couple things I was wanting to go over tonight. We definitely want to get into, I see it looks like John's here. Yeah, he had asked about how to do, and Bob from Arkansas responded to him how to do declining income, if that makes sense, or expenses, excuse me, expenses. I want to kind of go over that with Right Capital. So I want to dive into that first and foremost. Just to guys show you. And by the way, here, I am recording this. I will put it up on YouTube, just FYI. Initially, I wasn't gonna, but it's I don't know. Hey, what's going on, Wyman? Roxanne? I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. What I mean by that is, you know, it helps me with the YouTube algorithm to post stuff on YouTube. There's no other way around that. And if we're might as well doing it. So just don't say, you know, my name is Wyman, my social security is 1234, you know, I live at 123 White House Road or something like that. Don't do that. Just be advised. So right on. So I appreciate that. So just be careful of what you're sharing here for sure. Even though we're all somewhat familiar with each other, the YouTube audience as a whole is a bunch of nutcases out there for sure. So let's dive into the Right Capital. I want to hit share screen. We're going here, and we're going to go here, and we're going to get rid of this guy. And then, so 2 things on my agenda today is I want to go into Right Capital stuff, and then I want to share with you, I did a video on a sneak peek at my Wellington book coming out, and I just want to share with you some of my spreadsheets. I got just a whole bunch of charts here that I want to just kind of go over. This is on the 6%. And people, you know, why is it taking so long to do this? Is I'm doing a lot more charts than I had thought. Initially, I tell you, I'll come back to that. I'll come back because I'll get off. I'm not the most focused in some regard. All right, so we're going to go to Right Capital. And I want to show you. So we're on dashboard. I'm going to close out that. Am I going to close out this? Okay, I'm going to close out the chat for a second here. Actually, does it bring it back up or not? I'm not sure. Okay, well, hold on a second, guys. I'm trying to do 2 things at once here, which is never smart for me to do. All right, so what we're going to do here is I want to just share with you some Right Capital stuff. I don't see your chats right now, so if you're asking questions or chats, I don't see them, but I'll get back to them. We got Lanny and Maggie Sample on here, okay? Lanny and Maggie Sample. And what we're going to do is if we want to do declining expenses, actually, if Daniel is on here, he showed me a way you can do it with a negative inflation, and I forgot how to do that actually. So I'm hoping he'll be on here, Dan K. But what I do is I go to profile. All right, so we're going to profile, and we're going to go to income. All right, profile income, and then what we're going. actually, what we'll have here, I'm sorry, we're going to go to profile, we're going to go to goals, excuse me, profile goals. And what we're going to have here is it'll default to retirement expenses. And so we're just going to put 5,000 a month here. And I'm just going to show you what it initially looks like. All right, so 5,000 a month. And we're just going to zero these out. Blink, blink, zero these guys out here. And I'll come back to that. All right, so we got 5,000 a month, and that's what you'd want to put for your retirement expenses, okay? Just while I'm at it, don't put anything in here for expenses. Like, I know some people do charitable giving, they'll do medical. Don't do that. I mean, the charitable giving is fine if you're tithing, but even if you do charitable giving, it doesn't like allow you to say a tithe, like automatically take 10% of my income. It doesn't allow you to do that. So don't, I mean, do it here. I don't have any qualm with that, but just if you're doing it based on your income as a tithe, don't do that. Just include it as part of your overall discretionary expenses. A lot of people also do taxes, tax expense and fees, and they'll put their state income tax here. Unless you're living in Indiana or like a New York City where they have a city or a locality income tax, and I think Indiana is one of the few states that allows that, don't do that because the software will calculate your state income tax automatically. So unless you're doing, like I said, unless you live in New York City or, I mean, Philadelphia had a city tax, or Indiana like you are, Jill, you don't want to put any local tax here. If your municipality has its own separate tax, you don't put your state tax here because the software automatically figures out your state or your state tax, your state. You can change the tax code to 2017 tax law. If you want, you can change it where it doesn't sunset and then it sunsets in 2025. You can do whatever you want. I just default to 2025 sunsetting, which is what you should do too. Anyway, just want to point that out. So, but I really tell people don't mess with this on this unless you specifically have a locality tax. Don't mess with that. Don't add any expenses here. It just you're going to be double dipping. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to retirement, and then we're going to go to cash flows because I'll show you what it looks like. So we're going to go to retirement. We're going to go to cash flows, and retirement cash flows. Everything is based on cash flows. All right. So. And you're going to see expenses right here. All right. So expenses include living expenses, housing, and healthcare. So this is your discretionary expenses. You know, you're going on vacation. Well, they already have they have a goal for vacation expense, but your expenses are going to be, I don't know, you fill up the car with gas, put food on the table, just whatever. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that you normally do on a day-to-day basis, that is discretionary. And this is what I say, this is something you can change. For instance, if things go south, if you need to eat, ground chuck as opposed to filet, well, this is where you fix it. You can't change your housing. You can't change your health care. I mean, you could, but most likely you're not. So this is the one thing you want to click. So this is why I say put your charitable giving and stuff here, because that is the one thing you could reduce if you have an issue where you need to reduce discretionary expenditures, if that makes sense. All right, so now we see living expenses, housing, healthcare. Now, if we come back here, we're also gonna have another expense called goals. This is this guy's vacation. This is a fake person, by the way. Vacation goals. All right, you can see we're adjusting it for 2% a year. Everything is adjusted for inflation for 2% a year, except healthcare, which is adjusted at 5.5, 5.5, or 5.5. Like 2 and 2. Remember Chuck Woolery? 2 and 2 is 5 and 5, 5 and 5. Healthcare increasing at 5.5% a year. And of course, housing is going to be your mortgage principal, mortgage interest, property tax, and homeowners insurance. And you can see that, does this ever go away on this guy? I guess not. But anyway, so this is what's happening here for expenses. Now there's one expense that's not included here. All right. So we got living expenses, housing, healthcare. And then we had obviously another goal, which is their vacation expense. Well, their other expense is taxes. All right, so don't include that anywhere because the software will calculate for us. It'll calculate your taxes. So don't add to it because it won't make any sense. So don't add taxes. It'll calculate it for you. All right, so now that's the typical thing. Now, if we want to do where we have a decreasing expense, what we want to do here is we go to profile. And then we got to go to goals and zero out retirement expenses because we don't want retirement expenses in there on top of our other expenses that I'm going to call actually, let me just create the new box. We're going to go to add goal, and we're going to do other, and we're going to say go years, and we're going to do annual amount. We'll say 60,000 bucks. All right, just for simplicity, $60,000, and we'll do that. We'll do joint, and it's going to be every year, and we're going to do it for 5 years, if that makes sense. All right. 2025. So for the next 5 years, they're spending $60,000 a year on discretionary. But then after that, we're going to say, let's do another one. We're going to add goal, and we're going to go. So again, we're going to add goal, and we went to other, and we're going to do slow go years. And we're going to say, I don't know, 48,000. And again, we're going to make this joint, and we're going to do it in, from 2026 to 2030, 30, just for simplicity. And we're going to do that every year. And then lastly, we're going to create a third one. It's going to be called no-go years, where they're just sitting on the front porch, griping about the weather. No-go years. And we're going to say, what do we say, 48? We'll say 36,000 here. And we're going to make this joint. And we're going to do 2031 until end of both plans. And again, annually. All right. So what we're doing here is we zeroed out retirement expenses, but we replace it with go, slow go, and no go years. Now, these will all be adjusted with inflation. So even though it says 36,000, that's 36,000 in today's numbers. It'll be whatever at 2% a year as we go forward. So let's take a look. We're going to retirement. We're going to go to cash flows. Right, and you can see the difference on having that reduced. Remember, real quick, I'm not really all that concerned with these guys because it's a fake person. But remember how last time we had, I think it was a 0% probability of success for proposed plan. But now that we have a decreasing expenditures, it went up to 28%. Off the top of my head, I don't know why the difference between current plan and that. Oh, because of distribution strategy. Okay, no big deal. But anyway, so. And then we got proposed okay. So it doesn't matter. But anyway, let's go to cash flows. All right, so now we're going to cash flows. And now you'll see expenses. Well, whoa, what happened to expenses? Ain't much. And the expenses are solely housing and healthcare. That's it. So that still falls under the line item of expenses. But now we got goals instead of expenses. And a lot of people make this mistake. They think there's no expenses. Well, it is an expense. It's just called a goal. And we got vacation, 10,000 bucks, which I think stops. Yeah, it does stop for them 10 years from now. Then you got your other goals. So remember, we had 60,000 a year. Then it's going to drop in 5 years to 48,000. But 48,000 by that time will be 54,000 in inflated dollars. Then 5 years are going to drop to 36,000, which would be 44,000 by then. And you can click on it. It says go retirement years, slow go years, and no go years. So it's pretty cool. And that will keep going until they die. So let me see what we got here. Let's I wonder if I can click on this. Yeah, so you're right on. Right capital still seems not have the right state tax, lower than reality. Total with my deductions. Yeah, usually it's higher than reality, Jill. So you're saying in right capital, it's giving you less than it was for you in Indiana? Yeah, I have the same problem. Seems like their percentage about half a. Okay, so another Indiana. Really? That's weird. Because normally it's much higher. Like Georgia, right capital has this. Once you're 65, essentially there's no state income tax, but right capital doesn't recognize that. Jimmy, go to the corner, please, for being late. So both y'all are in Indiana. So something tells me there's something jacked up with Indiana. So in that case, if it looks like it's undercounting your tax, you definitely want to make it up or increase it for sure. So, I mean, so that would be the exception to the rule. All right, Jimmy, you can come out of the corner. Yeah, interesting about Indiana. Yeah, it's lower, 3.63 and 2.02 local, and mine is lower, only 4. Oh. That's interesting. I just don't think the state stuff is all that specific on right capital, frankly. So just make sure you adjust accordingly. All right. So I think we had a Q&A here. I added go and slow go like you did, but the only extra beyond my base. All right, I added go and slow go like I just did, but only the extra beyond my base or necessary expenses. Okay, no, I got you. Right on. That makes sense. This amount has extras like hobbies, travel. Yeah, right. So as you get older and you don't enjoy those, then probably, Jill, those will just fall off, I presume. So like 10 years from now, you will no longer do, buying, freaking Italian cars to work on in your garage, and that hobby will go away. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So that totally makes sense. All right. So let me I hope that helps. And I appreciate again you all being here. John, I know you asked about that. I know Bob from Arkansas jumped to the rescue there. Any thoughts on that? Anyone else have questions or anything we want me to look at Right Capital? I got it up. I'm happy to do so. I said with Right Capital, I get emails every week. Okay, so how do I change it? Should I add more to local and make yeah, that's what I do, Jill. So let's go to, we'll go back to share, and we're gonna go back here. So Jill says, how do you change it if it's not correct? I would go, y'all can see it. All right, sweet. What you'd want to do is you want to go to profile, and you want to go to expenses and add it right here. I just, so basically, you're 4, but it's supposed to be, 5.5. I just add 1.5 local tax. So let's see what it looks like when we do that. If we go to 1.5 local tax, we'll go to retirement. And then we're going to go to cash flows. And tax payments. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, so for some reason it didn't show up as local tax. Not sure why. Maybe because they don't have enough income. I don't know. I would have thought that would have shown up as something for local tax. Jill, are you okay? Actually, let me just make sure we got that right. Why is it not showing up there? So we got expenses, 1.5 local tax. Joint. I'm just curious. Let's do 10 just to see if that works. So why that didn't seem to show up. So let's go to retirement. 10% local tax, we'll just say. We're going to go to cash flows. And we're going to go to tax. Oh, that's weird. That's not showing up. Why? Proposed, maybe? I'm not sure why it's not showing up. That's weird. Expenses. Am I doing something wrong here? File and join. Yeah, that's weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, do I have them? Oh, I must have them living in where do I have these guys living? Hold on just a second. Oh, I got them in Illinois. Let's put them in Indiana. Let's try this. So let's put them in Indiana and see what we got. Let's go. Oh, that changed a little bit. Cash flows. Maybe it picks up that if you live in Illinois. Okay. Huh. That's weird. Maybe it picks up if you live in Illinois. Maybe the software picks up if you live in Illinois. There is no local tax you have to pay. That's odd to me. And then this one stopped. Then they have no taxes because they run out of money. Let me try something else real quick. That's new to me. I thought I heard old Pobby the Pablo. Oh, I want to try something. Let's go to let's have them living in Georgia. That's kind of cool if his Right Capital is that smart to be able to pick that up, that if you live in Illinois, there is no locality, only Indiana and some other states. So we've confirmed it works in Indiana. It doesn't. That's interesting. All right, cool. It doesn't pick up if you live in any other state. So I don't think, yeah, interesting. All right, so there you go. So Right Capital is smart enough to pick up that you can't have the local tax in any state except for Illinois, Indiana, and another. Let's have them move to DC. Can we have? I'm just bear with me. I'm just curious. Curiosity kills the cat. Can they live in DC? Nope. District of Columbia, right there. Wonder why it's on alphabetical order. All right, let's try that. So let's go to retirement. And we go to Pennsylvania. All right, Roxanne. Yeah, so definitely works in yeah. There we go. Okay, let's try PA. All right, let's go to PA. All right. Let's see what we got. Go to retirement. Does not look like it took it in PA. So maybe, maybe. Nope. So I'm not sure what happened in PA. Maybe PA has a different, I don't know. But we know for DC and Indiana it does. So that's, if that's good to know or not, that's interesting. So let's put him back in Illinois. All right, cool. So let's go to stop. All right, so no, we got John says, I also thought about a statistic, non-inflated year to year, but that does not seem really. Yeah, it does. A static, non-inflated income year to year. A static, non-inflated income year to year, or expense year to year, income year to year. If Dan is on here, let's spare him just a second. Yeah, Dan, how did you showed me how to do it where you could act, I think it was you, Dan. You said, how can you can do it where you're doing, you have a negative expense. So it's like, instead of inflation at 3%, you're right on. Yeah, no, you have your expenses going down by like negative 0.5 or something like that. If Dan, if you can remind me how to do, I couldn't figure it out. I was looking at that the other day for somebody. I thought on goals, you could ask it not to inflate if you want, not sure. Let's take a look. So that's what I thought too, but Dan showed me, I could have sworn it's Dan. If you go to goals and you go here, no, don't think that was, okay. Man, maybe it's Jimmy. Jimmy did that. You showed me how to do that, Jimmy, right? Where you can say it's a negative expense, or something was declining with a deflation as opposed to inflation. Who was, I know it was you, Jimmy. I could have sworn. There's something in here. There's one of these boxes. You can actually do a negative, going back to what John was saying, real expenses going down each and every year. There's a way to do it. I just can't remember. And I had it on here. It's not expenses. That wasn't that. It was, just bear with me just a second. Retirement expense. It wasn't that. Oh man, what I just don't remember. Nope. Savings. It wasn't savings. Yeah, I don't remember, man. It was on here someplace where you could have it being inflated, but instead of using there's an expense other than expense. Expense other than expense. Okay. Oh, maybe this. Oh, yes, I think that's it. Oh, yeah, sweet. Let's try this. So we're going to say retirement income. All right, sweet. Retirement income. There we go. We'll say, 5,000 a month. We'll say 5,000 a month. We're going to do joint. I think this is it, man. We're going to do the 2,000. We'll just do the end of the year, end of both plans. We're going to do customize inflation, but we're going to say negative 1% a year. We'll see if that works. All right, that looks good. All right, so let's try. I think this is it. Daniel K., sometimes you amaze me. Not all the time, but sometimes. All right, why is that not working? Did it take? Join. Plan. Calendar year. Seems like it's not want to take. All right, let's see what happens. All right, so let's go over here. Go back. Why didn't it take? Monthly expense 5,000. Make sure it takes there. General inflation. All right, took that. Go to custom. Oops. Okay, took that. So it took negative 0.5. Good. See if it takes negative 1.5. Ah, sweet. Yes. Oh man. Oh man. We're solving the chaos of the world's conquest and questions. We're solving stuff. All right, let's go back. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to goals. Let's zero these puppies out. 0. All right, sweet. If this works like I'm hoping, oops, 0. This is like finding the Dead Sea Scrolls. We have just found the Dead Sea Scrolls, I'm thinking. Let's see. All right, so we'll go to retirement. Go to cash flows. Okay. So expense. Okay, hold on a second. Profile. I went to expenses. Gotta do that. There we go. There we go. Hold on just a second. I think it's working. Yes. Yes, take that, freaking E-Money. E-Money's a competitor to Right Capital. Put that in your peace pipe and smoke it, E-Money. All right, look at that. So we got other expenses. It drops. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That is freaking awesome. So in 10 years, what was 60,000 is now 51,000. Oh, that's fantastic. No, right on, John. That's why I tell you, man. I mean, I learned on this stuff just as much as everybody else because I mean, this Right Capital is so much in here. All right, so let me show you everybody what I did because I know I forgot this. I think it was my man Jimmy who showed that to me. I guess he still thinks he's in timeout, but he's not, Jimmy. You're not in timeout anymore. You can get out of timeout. All right, so anyway, I'm joking. Jimmy's from Georgia. We're still pissed off that they're charging us cop of murder. It's freaking nuts, man. I'm still ticked off by this. The whole thing is insane. Insane. The stupid DA, who I don't vote for, but he's in my county, he says tasers, to charge the cop, tasers are not lethal, right? But he fired 2 black Atlanta police officers for using their tasers, saying it's lethal. What the hell is this? This is completely anti-cop. It's not anti-bad cop. It's anti-cop. And these guys can all kiss my butt. I'm freaking bad. It's like, wait a second. You fire 2 cops for using their tasers because it's lethal. Then a guy, it's like this freaking idiot district attorney, Paul Howard, or whatever his stupid name is sitting there saying, basically, oh, the dead guy now, he was jovial. He was just basically minding his own business, just being a nice guy, walking down the street, smelling flowers like Ferdinand the Bull. And then the cop should have known that he was just firing a taser. You freaking scumbag. When is it going to be a come to awakening for these fools? I'm sick of this crap, man. And I get it. And I'm not going to have to say, I get there's some bad. I'm sick of even having to say that. And that's what I feel like saying is like, look, cops, if you're going to be a cop, come to Milton, Georgia, Alpharetta, Georgia. We could use you. We'd love to have you. The freaking pieces of crap sitting there thinking, oh, who wants to be a cop in this day and age? Look, I don't even care if you're black. They're not going to defend you. They're not going to defend you. Yeah, you might not be worried about your life being threatened by some freaking fools like that Darren guy who killed freaking Michael Brown. When Michael Brown was freaking just not a good person, let's just put it that way. I forgot his name. If you're a black cop, you might not have to worry about that, but you're going to lose your job if they think you're out of line for whatever reason. It's freaking insane. Makes me so angry. I'm sitting there thinking, I live in this county, this stupid guy, but I can't. This is why we got to have our own county. They're talking about that. And of course, the first thing you say when you want to separate the 2 counties of South Fulton from North Fulton is they're saying it's being racism. We're like, no, we're subsidizing these fools down there to have people like this, clowns like this freaking district attorney. Our votes are being, it's kind of like if you live in Northern Virginia. And they're like, well, why would I want to, he's not representing me. Hell, freaking. And I'm paying a hell of a lot more in property tax. These people are down there. And yet I don't get any representation in freaking Fulton County. Nuts, all that. All right, let's go. So we're done. I guess, okay, cool. So we got some questions. Sorry about the rant. I'm just mad by that. There's a guy just going to do his job, man. All right, anyway, so let's see what kind of questions we got. All right. Jill says this year she's paying 6.5% federal, but 5% state and local. That's Indiana for you. Absolutely. Indiana is horrific on taxes. So one of my worst states on the income tax. But the nice thing about income tax is that you can do Roth conversions, stuff like that, in order to try to minimize that to some degree. But Jill and I have talked about this quite a bit. I'm not sure it's worth it for you. Unlike property tax, though, I live in Fulton County. I got property tax. I ain't going anywhere because I got subsidized people down South Fulton County. All right. Let's see. So Warren says, I recently inherited a regular IRA and a Roth IRA from a sibling who was less than 10 years older than I. Okay. I thought you meant less than 10 years old. It's like, damn, who was less than 10 years older than me. Okay. I understand under the Secure Act, I can still elect semi-stretched payout based on my life expectancy and starting next year after decedent died. How would this be modeled in right capital for RMD purposes? I don't know if the 10-year thing has any effect on non-spousal beneficiaries. I just don't know. I'm not sure if that has any effect. How would this be modeled for RMD purposes? How these RMD calculations affect my own IRA? Yeah, well, okay. So basically, you're just gonna have to do an inherited IRA, Warren. That's what you're gonna have to do, and then it won't affect your own RMDs at all because inherited IRA, the software. Once you have an inherited IRA and you hit, well, I guess you have to start taking out now anyway, so it doesn't matter. So once you have an inherited IRA, it will calculate your distribution based on your life expectancy. It will do that automatically. With a Secure Act, I'm sure they've adjusted it for the 10 years. I know they have. I haven't seen it actually for sure, but I know they've adjusted inherited IRAs for that 10 years that you have to have it withdrawn. Hope that makes sense. You just got to play around that some. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think the 10-year thing matters anymore. I just don't recall. But either way, you have 10 years in which you got to exhaust that puppy. Right Capital knows that, and they're the software will calculate it accordingly. Hope that helps. But it won't have any effect on your own, none whatsoever. You were going to show us before you got on the rant. I was going to show us before what was I going to show you, Jimmy? Yeah, Social Security, at least not, that's right. Social Security is not taxable or local in the state of Indiana. So that's a big deal. Absolutely. Right on. All right. So let's, what percent? Okay, there you go, Arvin. How you did what I did in ours. Oh, right. Yes. Okay, cool. You can see, I'm like Pablo, man. I see a squirrel. All right, so Arvin, right on. Okay, so Arvin asked, let me answer him. What percent of, okay, so let's put it this way. Let's go back to Right Capital. Arvin, what percent of probability do you recommend under Right Capital? 100% would be ideal. I completely disagree with that, my friend. And the reason I disagree with it, because let me show you what I'm talking about. So we're gonna kill two birds with one stone. All right, so let's go back to this. We're gonna stop everything. All right, so we're gonna get rid of all this stuff. And we zeroed all that. We're gonna go back to retirement expenses. We're just going for simplicity, say $4,000 a month for these people. And we're gonna, let me just see if I can't. No, I can't do that. Let's just put this down here. All right, so we're gonna do retirement expenses of $4,000 a month. And this is going to give us the 18%. Let's make this better. Hold on just a second. We're going to go 28%. Bear with me just a second. I want to, there's a method to my madness here. Hold on just a second. Let's do $2,500 a month. All right, 2500, boink, boink. And let's see what that works. All right, so we're going to go to retirement. There we go. So, all right, hold on just a second. All right, you know, while I'm at this, let me show you something. So what you can do, if you're like, oh, I got 100%, you can always change it right here. So what I've done here, this is on retirement analysis. And what will happen is if you come to this, it won't, this is all you're going to see. You got to come down here and click on this action items. I don't know why it doesn't default automatically, but if you click on this action items, it'll open up this right here, the second page of this one page. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this $3,000 a month and proposed current. Let's just make it simple. So we're going to make this $3,000 a month as opposed to $2,500, and that should change this quite a bit, I think. Well, not much. So let's make this $3,500 a month. Bear with me just a second. Hit refresh. That should change it to like 83, I think, or something like that. 74. Okay, cool. So going back to Arvin's question, he's saying it's 100% is ideal, and 100% is when I'm only spending $2,500 a month. Again, this is just your discretionary expenses. It does not include housing or healthcare or your goals. It's just your discretionary expenses. But Arvin's wife says, well, I want to spend $3,500 a month. And Arvin says, but look, honey, if we spend $3,500 a month, we only have a 74% probability of success. But if we spend $2,500 a month, we have a 100% probability of success. All right, so two things jump out at me here is that if you spend $2,500 a month, yes, under the software, you're not running out of money, but it's it's completely static thing. You got to update this every day. You don't need to look at it every day, but don't just think that this is going to be forever. I mean, if you ran this back, 3 months ago now, this might not be 100% because the market was 35% down. So you just got to revisit. You're just catching on the good day maybe, or you could be catching on a bad day. I had a guy in California, a young guy. And this is why I don't really take on too many young people anymore. His plan was a nice guy, but his plan had like a 98% probability of success or something like that, but it wasn't going to retire for 20, 25 years. It's completely irrelevant. A couple months later, the market fell. I can't remember, and it was down to 89. And I forgot his name, Joe. When I said he was kind of frustrated, I could tell. I said, man, you got to stop worrying about this. I mean, A, you're not retiring anytime soon, and B, it just changes how the markets do. And if you retire, I mean, literally, so if right now you're down, I guarantee you later on after that year, because we had such a good year last year, is probably up to 100%. And probably on March 2030 is down to 82% because the markets were down. This is the issue that happens with the fluctuating markets, because remember, it's Monte Carlo based, which means it's taking how much you have today and they're running the statistical probabilities with standard deviations. And if we go to investments and we look at standard deviations of a 62-38 portfolio for these guys, that's 10.3%. It doesn't say, well, you had 400,000 yesterday, now you got 300,000, so standard deviation changes. It doesn't do like that. It just says literally what you have today, this is your rate of return we're expecting, but it's going to be standard deviation is going to be volatile around that average rate of return. If you started with 400,000, it's going to be, and now you have 300,000, it's still using the same standard deviations. And this is why Monte Carlos are somewhat suspect. It's going to be tough for me I just don't feel like drawing out because it doesn't include the fact that we've already had one significant down year. And we just don't have the same probability of two significant down years once you have the one, if that makes sense. So it's just, well, let's look. I'll show you. If we look at the S&P 500, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let's see. So we go back to S&P 500 historical returns, and we can see, let me move this over. So we had 1876 down 14%, 1884 down 18.3%. Oops, hold on just a second. Let's keep going. 1893 down 12 is 18. I mean, you can see it was 17, but we don't have a history of any consecutive years very often. 1973 and 74 were kind of like that, but let's just keep going back. 1917, 1920. Then we had these years right here, 1930 and 1931. All right, now 1930 was down 22 and 1931 was down 44. That's the worst 2-year things we've ever had. The only other time we had anything like that was in 1973, 1974, and then in 2000, 2001, and 2. But the issue with that is 2000, it was down 9, 2001 is down 12, and 2002 is down 22%. 1929 or 1930, 1931, and 1929 were similar to 2000, 2001, and 2. But that's pretty much it. We don't have any other evidence of that whatsoever. I mean, we got here 1940, 1941, 9 and 9% respectively. That's, that's a big fat nothing burger. Other than 1973 and 1974, which is right here, 15 and 26. So if we look at the right capital and we're using a 10.3 standard deviation, if we take that times 3, that's going to be basically 31%. All right, so let me share with this a brief elementary way this works. We're just going to say our annual rate of return is 5. If you have a third standard deviation, 99.8% of the time, you can get between basically 31% above this amount right here, which would be 35 or 36, and 31% below this amount right here, which would be 30. I hope that makes sense. So 99.8% of the time, you would get, based on this number right here, negative 30 and positive 35. Now, the Monte Carlo says just because you got negative 30 in year 1 doesn't preclude you from potentially getting negative 30 in year 2 as well, if that makes sense. So because of that, again, not likely, but because of that, the standard deviation and the Monte Carlo, going back to the percentage, is somewhat skewed because it doesn't, the software doesn't know what human reaction is usually when the markets are down quite a bit, they snap back up pretty good. All right, so that's literally the worst case scenario. Let's go back even more. There's more to this story than that. And I hope this makes sense. I'll probably be the only one sitting here. You guys are probably all hung up on me. I'm just yapping. All right, I also want to go to cash flows. All right, so let's watch this. We're going to go to cash flows, retirement cash flows. Everything's cash flow. And we're going to go to proposed plan. Now, in proposed plan, remember, let me just delete this for a second. Proposed plan, we had Miss Arvin said, I want to spend $3,500 a month. And Mr. Arvin said, I only want to spend $2,500 a month. All right, so we go to expenses. $3,500 a month is $42,000. We wait 10 years, $3,500 a month at inflated is at $51,000. We wait 20 years, $3,500 a month is now $62,000. We have the increasing rates of increasing expenditures on a flat trajectory going to the northeast, which says your expenditures are growing each and every year with inflation until the day you die. There's just no evidence of that whatsoever. There's literally no evidence of that happening, which is why John B asked, hey, is there a way you can do it where the expenses drop on a regular basis, because we have evidence overwhelming that that's the area. So if you were to say, man, I'm running these numbers and tell my wife, Josh, that we can't spend $3,500 a month because we only have a 74% probability. I'd be like, hold on, hold the reins here. That's okay by me, because we're not going to spend in a flat a trajectory like that. It's just not going to happen. Now, could, all right? I mean, anything could happen. But what I would suggest to you is you go back and do what John was talking about, we started to do to begin with, which we'll show you right now. So instead of spending $3,500 a month each and every month for the rest of your life, we're going to say that expenditures drops by $500 a month every 10 years or so. So now what we want to do is we're going to go to profile, and we're going to go to expenses, and we're going to go to this green button that says add expenses, and we're going to do other. So add expenses, other expenses, and we're going to say retirement expenses. All right. So we're starting at $3,500 a month, but we're going to drop that by, and we're going to do joint, and we'll do till the end of the plan, but we're going to drop this by 1% a year just for simplicity. So we're going to go minus 1.0. All right, so now watch this. Now our expenditures are dropping each and every year as we age. I wonder if you can do this. Oh, you can even do this. You can even, man, you can create all kinds of different boxes and say for the first 5 years, I'll do 3,500. Then, 5 years after that, I'll be, you can do all kinds of stuff here. It's freaking, this is sweet. This is sweet. Anyway, Hope this makes sense. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to goals. We're going to zero this out, all right, because we don't want to double bill ourselves, because we're not going to spend retirement expenses here because we're already accounting for that in this other area. And then we're going to go to retirement. So now we're at $3,500 a month is declining by 1% a year. And I guarantee it's be, I don't know what the proposed plan said. I don't get that, but it doesn't matter. Our current proposed plan, it does. So why is it $3,500? No, we got to get rid of this zero. All right. Got to zero that out because I was just double dipping. I was double billing myself. So we got to get rid of zero, get rid of 3,500. Now we're at 100%. And the reason for that is because our expenditures are dropping by 1% a year, and we'll go to cash flows. So it's $3,500 a month. Let's see, expenditures right there. Proposed plan right there. All right, cool. And we're going to other, $3,500 a month. It drops. Next year is 4,100, 41,000, 41,000, 40,000. You can see how that works. Until by the time we're freaking old and decrepit, we're sitting on, it's only cost us $32,000 a year in expenditures. Now, that might be a little bit drastic. I don't know if I believe so. I mean, basically, if you look at the BLS numbers, the decline is once you hit 65, it kind of flattens off, and then it starts going down from your 70s, about 20% a decade, and then 22% in your 80s. So I don't think that's overly dramatic at all. Anyway, hope that helps, Arvin. So if you're running a static analysis where your expenditures go up each and every year with inflation, I'm very comfortable with about 75%. I really, really am. If you're getting a little bit more in the weeds here and you're declining it, then I would not be all that comfortable with 74% because it says, hey, my expenditures are going down and I'm still have a 25% probability of running out of money. At that point, about 80% I'd be comfortable with for sure. But it also depends on how long you're going to live. I mean, I was talking to a couple yesterday, and they initially had them live into 120. I said, no, let's not have you live into 120. That wasn't going to work. Anyway, so lastly, I want to show you real quick while I'm chatting on this. I want to go to retirement. All right, and one thing I think I overlook a lot actually. So we want to look at, so this is retirement, all right, and again, analysis. You got to go down and make sure this, you can see this gray back screen here. I want to go to income, retirement income. See how this 87.6% of their income is stable. The reason for that is because Social Security. I get this question a lot. I'm getting older. Do I need to be more conservative? Man, it depends on your income stability. If you have stable income from Social Security and or a pension, you got to think of this as your bonds, man. You've got to. Because watch, we're going to go to 87.6% of their income is stable. There is no risk, essentially, of the market declining that hurts them from a cash flow perspective. So let's go to stress test. Stress test. All right, so now, again, 87% of their income is stable, which means it's not relying on the stock market. All right, so we got a market crash of 80% in their first year. So here's our baseline. They have a 100% probability of success. A market crash of 80% in their first year only declines their probability of success by 3.6% because they are not relying on the market to provide them income. What's up, girl? Okay, sorry. That's Maddie. She says I'm being too loud. Who'd have ever thought that? They're not. They're relying on Social Security, which means if Social Security is reduced by 20%, their probability of success drops to 78.3. And that's the, and if you look at the vast majority of retirees in America, are they relying on stocks or are they relying on Social Security? Well, they're relying on Social Security. This is why it's foolish, in my opinion, is to assume that you're going to get money taken away from you in Social Security. It's simply not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It's insane to think that. There's no politician who's going to sit there and say, Jill, we're going to take 20% of your Social Security. But and all the naysayers, what's his name? Chris Hogan on Dave Ramsey shows, like, Social Security is not secure. Well, the Social Security Trustees report says this, that, and the other. I'm like, do you really think, Chris Hogan, and all these other naysayers about Social Security, that there's any politician who's going to appoint a blue ribbon panel. They're never going to do it themselves. They're going to appoint a commission with middle of the road old senators who freaking, anyway, do you think they're going to say, we're going to take Social Security from Grandma Jones sitting in Indiana? No, it ain't going to happen. It's just not. Now, they might say, Bill Gates, you know, you're not going to get Social Security. Look, fine. But they're not going to take it from Grandma Jones sitting in Indiana. They're just not. And so because of that, when I hear people all the time, oh, my goodness, I'll never be able to retire. They're taking Social Security. I say, oh, stop. So anyway, the equity market is crashing by 80%, literally does nothing. This is Social Security that does something. So what I would do if I was these guys, I'd go back to right here. We're going to go to analysis. And I'd say, well, because we have this bond called Social Security, we can make our portfolio a heck of a lot more aggressive. So what happens if we make it most aggressive? What happens here? And we click on refresh. Instead of 906 a year, they'll leave 1.2. 906 at their death, they're leaving $200,000, $300,000 more, which means they can spend more, if that makes sense. So anyway, if you have a portfolio that's middle of the road and you're relying heavily on guaranteed income, Social Security and or pension or annuities, I would make your portfolio more aggressive for sure. Lastly, let me just point out something else too. If I'm not at all worried about the inflation bogeyman. Who's I listening to today? I was listening to a podcast by, who was it? Is Powerline Blog, my man over at Powerline. Hold on just a second. It was a Joel, hold on, I can't remember. It was, Powerline right here. So let me stop sharing. Powerline Blog, that's their Powerline Blog. The 60s Never Ended, and that is with podcast. That's with a guy named Fred Siegel. Amongst Fred's many fine books is The Future Once Happened Here, New York, LA, and the Fate of America's Big Cities, which explain the high cost of incompetent liberal rule on our major cities in the 60s and 70s, blah, blah, blah. He thinks inflation is definitively coming. I just don't agree with that at all. I just don't. But be that as it may, if it were coming, even more reason not to have bonds, because bonds will get hammered in inflation. All right, so let's see what kind of questions we got here. Mine at the bottom of the market was still 100%. Okay, yeah, because I have a lot of cash and safer money in my portfolio. And her standard deviation. So basically, Jill is saying even at the bottom of the market, she's still at 100% probability of success because she has a lot of cash, which means her standard deviation is not very high. I think this might be the best for me since I'm single, not caring. Yeah, if you don't care if you leave millions to heirs, just spend away. Party like it's 1999. All right, let's see what else we got. So chat, let's go to chat. So I hope that helps, Arvin. All right, here's Jill. She goes, the method might be good too to keep your insurance property tax out of your income by making the rest of your acquired and additional expenses. I'm not sure if all my insurance and property tax and long-term care premiums I entered are in once, but not double. Social Security. Okay, right. We talked about what we did in Right Capital. Yeah, so we did on negative. Denise, you get that, the negative percent thing? I hope that made sense. Josh, I believe if one is less than 10 years younger than the decedent, then the 10-year rule does not apply. I don't know that to be true, Warren. For the Secure Act, I don't know that. I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know. You'd have to look that up. So Warren's question is if there used to be a big issue on 10, if you were less than 10 years of the decedent and you inherited an IRA and it was a non-spouse, there's some kind of rule on that. But that didn't matter anymore when you had life expectancies on that you could on your own, if that makes sense. I guess an inherited IRA, I can't remember. At this stage, it doesn't matter. The issue that Warren is asking is with the Secure Act, you have 10 years in which to exhaust an inherited IRA that's a non-spouse IRA. if the decedent, we'll just say your sister, is less than 10 years older than you, can you use your life expectancy, or do you still have to exhaust it within 10 years is what I'm thinking Warren's asking. I haven't heard anything that you can use your life expectancy. Because any non-spouse beneficiaries, you have 10 years in which to exhaust an IRA that you inherit. I don't know why the Secure Act would have avoided that, other than they just missed it. But you definitely look into it. I just don't know. I don't know why that would have. I don't see how that could possibly have gone through there, because they're saying for any non-spouse beneficiaries, you got to exhaust in 10 years. That includes your kids. So if you're a non-spouse beneficiary less than 10 years, you can spread it over your own life expectancy, while you leave your kids an IRA that they have to exhaust in 10 years. Obviously, that's not fair, but who says the tax code has to be fair? Obviously, in my opinion, they overlooked that, but I don't know. So someone can validate that. Let's see here. Okay, so here's Bob says, Warren found some fidelity. Eligible designated beneficiaries include a surviving spouse, a minor, more than 10 years on the option to retake for work. Oh, okay, there we go. So eligible designated beneficiaries, including a minor child of the deceased owner, or any person not 10 years younger, not more than 10 years younger, they can take on their own life expectancy. All right, there you go. So I was wrong. All right, cool. There you go. You learned something. Let's see. So with the barbell, are we only concerned about having 3 to 5 years cash during down markets, regardless of the cash to stock ratio? Mine is like 25 to, okay. Would you be okay with 10% cash and 90% stock ratio? All right, so with a barbell, are we only concerned about having 3 to 5 years cash during down markets, regardless of the cash to stock ratio? Would you be okay with 10%, 10 to 90? Mine is like 25 to 75. Well, no, I don't think it has anything to do with the overall 100% allocation. I think it has to do with how much expenses you have. So going back to those people, if they need, I don't know, $3,000 a year to live, and they're getting $3,000 a month to live, and they're getting $2,700 from Social Security, but then they only need $300 in which to cover that. So let me try to explain this. So that'd be 300 times 12. They need $3,600 to make up the difference, if that makes sense. So I'd much rather have them have that 3,600 times 3 to 5 for the 3 to 5 years that they got to make up. Really has nothing to do with the overall, 100%, 10 to 90% stocks, 25 to 75. That has nothing to do with this. In terms of the barbell, it's like how much cash do you need that you're not getting from guaranteed sources on a monthly basis. And again, in this case, if it's only $300 a month, because of $2,700 a month is coming from Social Security, they don't need to replace that $2,700 a month. They just don't. So you say, okay, I need to replace $300 a month. I don't want to take it from a stock portfolio. So I'm just going to say I need, let's say 3,600 times 12, times 3,600 times 3. So in this case, they'd need 10,800 for 3 years in that barbell cash bucket, Bob. And that'd be fine. Absolutely. They got 3 years in which to draw down their cash while the market goes south. So I hope that makes sense. I don't think it's at all, Frank, I don't think it all makes sense at all to say, I'm going to have 25% stocks or bonds and 75%, stocks. That doesn't make sense to me at all. I think it all has to do with your cash flow, without question. And if you have a cash flow need, you can always make it a little bit more conservative by having 5 years if you want. I got no qualm with that at all. But if you have a cash flow need, the one thing we don't want you to do is pull them from stocks. And the only way you have a cash flow need is to the extent that your Social Security and pensions aren't providing you with the cash that you need, if that makes sense. But if you have 5 years of cash for down years, can you put your money in stocks? Yeah, I mean, can you? Yes, you can. I mean, will you? Not worry about. So he says, if you have 5 years of cash for down years, can you put your money in stocks and not have to worry about the market? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be the intention. Now, people still will, guarantee you, and I wish they would not. Look, I worry about the market. I mean, hell, I sit there and I just see the insanity that's going on in the world. I say, was the USA the exception to the rule of, how long have human beings been on this earth? I don't know, who knows? And we just had this one great 100-year span. I can't help but think that is true. I just can't. It's just sitting there, and I say, it's actually pretty interesting. If you read Rose Wilder Lane, was she the mom or the daughter of Laura Ingalls? The lady from the Prairie, forgot her name. I just got a book by Laura. Laura Ingalls Wilder, is that her name? Anyway, she's either mom or the daughter of her. And she had written a book many, many moons ago, obviously, that talked about humanity did not do anything, literally nothing until something revolutionary happened. Something happened. Humanity was just flat forever and ever and ever. Then all of a sudden out of nowhere, kaboom, which is one of my pet peeves of why everyone's hating on, freaking the Europeans, the whites in America, as if we're evil, when in fact but the Muslims did the same thing back in the 800s. It's sad to see. There's so many previous ethnicity, I don't even know what it would be, races, religions that were so wonderful in their creation of knowledge, and then just got beaten down by just groups that didn't tolerate it anymore. And that's my concern. I think that's what is starting to happen here, not differently than what happened to the Muslim world in the Middle East. I think it's like the 800s and stuff. And then just like that, shut down. And oh my goodness. Do you know the term coffee comes from Arabic? I did not know that. But anyway, it's amazing. So anyway, Rose Wilder Lane said, something happened, nothing happened, boom. What was it? Well, it was the Renaissance, the Industrial Revolution, capitalism, free thought, free thinking, radical stuff, and boom. And I don't know, man. So anyway, going back to your thing, Denise, you guys sitting there and say, but is bonds going to be the reprieve? No. I mean, if the Bolsheviks come, your bonds aren't going to be worth anything either. So I think you just say, look, I'm going to, you have cash to cover 5 years. Yeah. And then you let the stocks ride, and hopefully before the Bolsheviks come, you'll be dead. And then, you'll be up with the big guy upstairs and looking down and saying, oh, you fools, God gave us utopia, and we as human beings, we violated it, and we continue to do so. I don't know what else you can do, but I think about this all the time. I look, it's easy to fall pessimistic, but it's also somewhat common sense, in my opinion. I think it's, at the end of the day, like, why is the world just, we think there's going to be this endless progression of progress, and I don't think so. They're pulling down statues of Washington now and Tom. I mean, look, anyone who's been paying, I've been saying this for 20 years. I said, look, I get it. They want to rename Washington Lee School in Arlington, Virginia. They want to rename W&L in Lexington, Virginia. I get it. I even get the understanding that the Confederate flag is painful. I get all that. But under that same guise, you say, okay, well, Washington did have slaves. He did. That's a fact. And so when is it they're going to put their, the United States flag flew over slave? When are they going to look at, focus their guns on this? And they're doing it now with no one standing in the way. It's nuts. Anyways, just so you got to wonder, at some point, the capitulation is going to be so much that they just win. And then it won't matter about stocks, won't matter about bonds. We'll all be living in a George Orwell time. It's sad, man. You can't take, they can take down everything, Jill. They're trying to for sure. I was reading today, is actually quite sad. So I did a video yesterday on this guy, Li Fang, and who just groveled before the commissars, saying he's racist because he literally quoted a black guy whose cousins were killed by other black men, and the mom of those cousins, his aunt, was still grieving because she lost her kids. And the black guy said, "How come black lives don't matter unless it's a white is the perp?" And that's what I've always said for a long time. And Lee Fang quoted it. Lee is the biggest lib. I mean, his libs credentials are through the roof. And he didn't even say that. He just quoted this guy, and he got taken before, you know, the Robespierres, and you know, basically before the guillotine took him out, he groveled and apologized. And his guy I was reading today is frightening. He said it's almost like if you read 1984, when Winston actually, he recognizes that Big Brother was right all along. I hope that's not a spoiler, but he recognizes that Big Brother was right. And you're sitting there like, why, Winston? Why are you recognizing that? And it's almost like what I think Lee Fang is doing is that they don't even have the ability to fight anymore, because they just said they essentially have said, if the collective thinks this way, I have to think that way too. That's the scariest thing. I don't even think Lee Fang is doing it just to keep his job. I think Lee Fang is groveling because the collective for which he is thrown in with is saying he has got wrongthink, no other way around that. And so he's groveling accordingly. It's not even groveling. It's like, you're right. Everyone else thinks this way. I need to think that way. And that's what's freaking scary. It's not that they're groveling to keep their jobs. Is that they're, in my opinion, acknowledging that they were wrong because the group thinks like, literally the group think. And I hadn't thought about it like that. I forgot who the author was I was reading. It wasn't Victor Davis Hanson, which would be along his lines, but I forgot. But anyway, I had never thought. I said, man, because I always sit there and say, Lee Fang, you did nothing wrong. Why are you groveling to these people? And I said, oh, now I know, because the collective thinks this way, and the collective is always right. The state is always right. Scary, man. Jill says, it kills me that citizens are allowed to take that law in their own hands. And I could not agree more. We don't like this statue. How dare you get in the way? We're taking it down. And we all say, okay. Crazy, man. Crazy. It's crazy times. All right, let's see what else we got on here. No, Jill, I mean, that's the thing. And the sad thing is I mean, right on. Retirement makes me tired. Right on, Harry. The sad thing is that it just, retirement makes me tired. Whew, what are you going to do? All right, so I want to show you guys something else here. Let me just share my screen. I'm going on to a little bit of and this will just be a real sneak peek at my book. All right, hopefully y'all can see this. All right, so this is let me get rid of this here. My book, my forthcoming book on the Wellington. All right, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing here, which is freaking, I love it. It's a lot longer than I thought, actually, in terms of getting all these individual graphs done. This is the Wellington Fund, and I did a video on this today, and I put it on my blog. I guess some of the charts didn't show up on the email, but if you look at my blog, you can see it. But I want to show you something here. This is the Wellington Fund from 1930 to 1952 with a 6% withdrawal. All right, and we're adjusting with inflation. I can't remember, was this with the barbell? The barbell, yeah, okay. So barbell means we're taking 24,000. Is that what we're doing here? 24,000. Hold on just a second. Yeah, 24. So we're taking 4 years of cash. This goes back to Denise, what Denise asked, and Bob was mentioning here. We're saying we have 24,000 in cash. That's 4 years of income that we need, not from the portfolio, if that makes sense. So it doesn't matter the income we need. It matters the income from the portfolio that we need. We're taking $24,000. We're putting in cash with a non-interest bearing cash account. We're putting the $74,000 or $76,000 in Wellington. In fact, I think I only have 74. Hold on a sec. I got 76. Okay, cool. Good. So we're putting my man Bruce had pointed out, it said 74. I meant 76. But anyway, we're putting 76,000 in Wellington. Now, this is in the beginning, essentially, of the Great Depression, and we're adjusting this for inflation. As you can see, this is our annual withdrawals, right? 5,000, 6,000. It goes all the way down to Does it give me the 4,500 right there? Then it starts going back up. We don't break 6,000 again. Why does it not let me do it? Anyway, for some reason not letting me click on it. But either way, we don't break 6,000 again until right here in 1943. 1943 is when we break 6,000 because of deflation of the 1930s. Anyway, if this were you still had money until 1951. So that's still 21 years of money that you had. That seems pretty good to me. And if we keep scrolling down, we see this is 6% withdrawals with the barbell. Same exact scenario, except we're starting in 1931, adjusted for inflation. And by the time 30 years goes around, you still have how much? $68,000 in your portfolio, and yet you've been taking 6% a year adjusted for inflation. So by the time you're 1960, 30 years later, you're averaging $10,000 a year that you're taking out of your portfolio. Now, if we go adjusted for inflation, this is starting in 1966. This is where it gets back. You can see 1966, 6% a year adjusted with inflation. Well, inflation became a bad. Let's just put that from 66 to basically mid-80s. And you can see we run out of money in 1981 here. So 6% in 1966 gets dicey. That won't work. So this is where I was saying in my blog post today, I said, do you think we're going to be more like Japan or like Turkey? Because we were essentially Turkey in 1966 to 1982, essentially, which is high. Well, Turkey's got high unemployment, high inflation, high interest rates, low debt to GDP. And that was basically what we are. And that's what Turkey is right now. So are we more like Turkey now, or are we more like Japan? My argument is more like Japan, which would mean these 6% are a lot more attainable for sure. Anyway, let's keep going down. So now I started in 1973 because we had 73 and 74. You can see the market's getting hammered, and 73, 74 plus the inflationary years of the 70s. And again, we ran out of money in 15 years time, basically. So 6% in 1966 adjusted for inflation, 6% in 1973 adjusted for inflation. We ran out of money before 2 decades are up. Let's keep going now, though. Now we're starting 2000, 6% a year adjusted for inflation. This is at the end of 2019. So 20 years later, we have $45,000 at the end of 2019, even though we've been taking 6% a year out. And starting in 2000, look, we got killed 2000, 2001, and 2002. And inflation was still just nice, flat. Look at that. And so, we're not going to make 30 years here, but make it 25. That's not too bad if you ask me. 25 years. How many people can actually live for 25 years of retirement? Probably half won't, if not more. All right. So now this is what I thought was interesting. I'm doing 7K barbell. I got to change the color structure there. So we're doing a barbell again, and we're doing 7K for the first, I guess that's 10 years or so. And then we're dropping it down to 4K, like we talked about with John asked about it. So we're going 7K a year, 7%, and we're dropping to 4K once we get older. We ran out of money here in 1956. So we still had 26 years essentially of cash at our discretion. Now we're not adjusting with inflation. We're starting with a way high amount, and we're reducing it after 10 years. Party of the beginning of your life, and then reduce it as the years go by. And here we still last for 26 years. That's at 1930. I'm going to do that again for 1931. I don't think I've done it in this sheet here. And here's 6,000 fixed. We're not reducing it with inflation. We're not increasing with inflation. So basically, we're spending 6,000 in the first few years of our lives. The first 10 years of this retirement, 6,000 is actually increasing in cash value because the cost of living is going down. So 6K with no inflation adjustments. We had money started in 1931. We had money until we die 30 years later. All right. You can see I kind of like doing this. Now we got 6K fixed distributions starting in 1966, ending value. And so here we're starting at 6K at the beginning. So essentially we're doing the exact opposite of what John B was asking. we're reducing our cash flows each and every year, we're essentially having our cash flows reduced each and every year by inflation. So 6K buys us less as we go forward because inflation is eating it away. It's the same scenario. Inflation is eating away our cash, but we're not really reducing the dollar amount. We're just taking 6% fixed distributions, which is $6,000 a year essentially. And we're fine. We had 1966 and 1995, and we still got over $200,000 in our portfolio. All right. And so we're trying all kinds of different scenarios here. And then finally, 6K fix in 1973. We talked about that. Here's, you know, again, we lasted for 30 years, even though it was high inflation. We started on a high amount and inflation was eating it away. So inflation at this stage was, you know, by the time, you know, 30 years comes around, 6K won't buy nearly the same as it did before, but you're 30 years older. You're not likely to spend as much as you did. And you still now have in your portfolio $586,000. I think I got a couple more in here. All right. This is a 6,000 fixed barbell starting in 2000. We're just taking again 6,000, 6% fixed, not adjusting with inflation. And not only did we survive until the end of 2019, that's 20 years, we have over $100,000 in our portfolio against a barbell. And here we go. Here's a 6% fixed 1930, and even again we ran out of money here in 1949 because it was a deflationary time. So that 6% fix in deflation was actually increasing our expenditures each and every year because the cost of living was actually going down. So what cost $6,000 in 1930 cost $5,800 in 1931, but we're still spending $6,000 a year. Anyway, so I'm gonna do. I got that for 7% barbell. No barbell, 5% barbell, no barbell. I even have 4%. I don't think I'm going to do 4% in the book, though. Maybe got 5.5%. And the reason I'm not going to do in the book is because my goal is to show you that you can, you don't need to follow the stupid 4% rule. You can do more for sure. Now, who knows what the future holds? Will you be able to survive? I don't know. Hopefully, but my book is going to show you that on all these times of inflation and of deflationary times, if you just stuck with the 4% rule, you left a lot of money on the table that you shouldn't. You shouldn't leave that on the table. You shouldn't spend it and enjoy it for sure. Anyway, I'm working on this like a crazy man now. It's fun. Let's see. It's not finished yet. It's not finished yet because these spreadsheets are actually they're I wish I had a formula where I could just click on this and fix them all, but I gotta go in there at each and every one and adjust it and stuff, and then I gotta clean it up, man. But it'll be I'm probably putting in 3 hours a day on this, so hopefully it'll be done the next week. And I got some verbiage in there too, don't get me wrong. I'm hoping, I'm a very visual person, so I'm hoping the verbiage will be minimal and the graphs will speak for themselves. Initially, I was going to do the just the spreadsheets, and that takes up so much space. I did that in the Roth book. I think I might have even done it in this. Well, not that much, I guess. But in the Roth book, I did a lot of spreadsheets, and I had to reduce them because it just took up so much space. I didn't do that much in this book, but I'm trying to avoid that. And so I might have a couple spreadsheets in there, but by and large, it's just be graphs, easy to see, in color. The 1966 barbell green looks be off. Yeah, I got to go in there, clean all that stuff up for sure. Might be missing the first year in the range of the chart. Same with 2020. Yeah, we'll see. It might be. Wouldn't shock me. Oh, we got a question. All right. Rick?
Yeah, you know how you think that we're going to follow the Japanese trend. Has the Japanese market really done anything over the last 20 years, or has it stayed basically flat?
Well, let's take a look.
Because if your Wellington examples, our market fluctuates. It's low and then it goes up. But if we get into a time where the market really doesn't change a whole lot, wouldn't you basically be in a fixed withdrawal rate?
Well, let's see what the Japanese market did over the last. Let's see. So I'm gonna hide this real quick, and in my thing here, I have Japan. I just got to find where I have it. bear me just this thing. Yeah, right here, Japan. So let's take a look. Let's move this down a little bit. All right, so
I
here.
guess another way of saying it is the Japanese stock market model like a Wellington portfolio? I guess that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah. I don't know how you could. I certainly don't think it models a Wellington portfolio. No way. But if we go back to, I mean, because watch this. If you look at 1990, 1991, 1992, huge declines, followed by huge declines, 95, 96, 97. 96, 97, 98, followed by huge declines 2001 and 2, followed by huge declines in 2007 and 8. So the issue with so basically right here, the Japanese have averaged since F43, hold on a second, they've averaged F43 is from 1990 till the end of 2019, they've averaged less than 1% a year in the Nikkei. So that's just straight up ugly. 1% a year since 1990. Now, if we change that, Pablo doesn't like when I talk about Japan. Hold on just a second. All right, there we go. If we change that from 1990 to 1993, which is F46, hold on a second, F46, it's a little bit, I think it's like 3.5 or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, 3.6. So if we change it, it's 3.5. So Japan is, it's just ugly. Now, that might be one of the reasons why, frankly, that a lot of the people, the yields are so low because people are buying up their bonds like drunken sailors. I don't know. That if you aren't thinking you're making any money in stocks, you're going to get all the risk. Then inherently, people are going to be buying up bonds. So that might be one of the reasons why the rates are so low. But Japan will not. I don't think you can compare Wellington to the Nikkei at all. I don't think so.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But the issue is, yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
actually, their market's a lot more volatile than I thought it was. If you look at a lot of those years, I mean, there's years with 0.42% followed by 19 and 56 and 22. And I mean, it's fairly, I assumed it was more flatter.
Well, watch this. Then if you look at the 80s, though, look at this, though. I mean, 40, 43, 14, 39. I mean,
yeah,
it's, what do I got here? Here's a historical inflation rate. And if we go down to, I mean, negative, a little bit, not much, negative. Now they're at negative as well. It's just, things, look, and I had a couple guys actually took offense to me saying, you know, the market is the economy, or the market in Japan is a basket case, as if that's an indictment on the people of Japan or something. I said, that's not an indictment. He goes, people in Japan live great. And I said, well, I've never been there. I have no clue what they live like. I have no idea. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But I do know if you are looking at financial investing, which is what we are looking at here, you'd have to assume that the people in Japan are not very happy with their stock performance. Hell, and then their bonds haven't done anything either. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're, you know, eating ramen noodles every day, but the numbers are the numbers. And then we talk to well, I don't talk to him, but we can watch the videos of Richard Koo, who's Japanese, and he talks about, you know, that there's just no demand there. The demand has been shut off because people are saving and squirreling money away, and they don't want to get crunched again like what happened in the 90s and the aughts. So, will that be us? Yeah, I don't know, but that's. But everyone says because the government's spending so much, that's inflationary. But Japan is not true. And then we look at Turkey, which has a 33% debt to GDP, which is incredibly low, and their inflation is through the roof. I mean, so all the models are just. I don't know. I don't know what to say of these, but Japan proves that maybe they're exception to the rule. I don't know. But then Turkey has no debt relative to the GDP. I mean, a little bit, but not much, not like America. And they have huge inflation. Those two things are supposed to go the exact opposite. It's nuts.
I think one of the optimistic things that has stayed with me over the last few months is where even Buffett says, "Don't bet against America;
Yeah,
you'll lose."
That's it. I think you gotta say America or bust, and it's home bias. Well, I'll take that home bias any day of the week because America is still the best place to be until someone proves otherwise. And Anyway, anything else? Is that
Nope,
all
I'm
right?
good.
Cool. Thanks, Rick. All right. So let me go to Roxanne. All right. So Roxanne, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, what's
Hello?
going on?
Hey, this is a different question from anything we've talked about tonight, so totally off topic. And I just want to get your opinion, if you can give me an opinion about this. We bought whole life insurance policies for our kids when they were born.
Okay.
So we had a guarantee premium for their whole life. So we got $15,000 of insurance, whole life insurance. My son is like rounded $10 a month, and that can never change.
All right.
And my daughter's was $8. My daughter's $8 a month.
Okay.
So that was for $15,000 worth of insurance. Well, so we didn't have to pay taxes on that money accumulation. We put it in and bought more insurance. So they're both about $20,000 right now.
Cash value or death benefit?
Death benefit.
Say again?
Death benefit.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Okay. I don't really know what the cash value is. So my thing is, my son's turning 30 this year. And we don't really know what to do, if we should keep these policies going, if they're like a diamond in the rough, or it's just stupid to keep paying on them, or can you give any idea on that?
Yeah, I mean, so no idea what the cash value is, though?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I could find out for sure, but wait. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. And how's the health of your kid, your son, for instance? I mean, is he decent shape? He's not going to fall over tomorrow or anything like that, or?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the 30,000. What'd you say? $20,000 death benefit is your presumption?
Yeah.
Yes, that's not worth it. I mean, I would. So here's what I'm doing. I have the same thing with my kids. I have two $50,000 whole life policies on each of my children, one through USAA and one through Knights of Columbus. And they're 20 pay, which means after 20 years, they're paid up. I don't have to pay anymore. And the point about that is I wanted to make sure that when they hit about 25, all these suckers we paid, so I don't have to keep paying $8 a month. I actually pay, I think, $20 a month for each of them or something like that. So, but a $20,000 death benefit, you know, if your son died tomorrow, I hate to say it, but it's not going to do anything. You know, I mean, they'll put him in the ground, pardon my French, but other than that, it's just not doing much for him. And he can't benefit from it because he has to die. You see what I'm saying? So let's say you have, I don't know, $8,000 of cash value in there. I just give it to them, to be honest. This is what I'm doing. When they hit 25, I'm literally assigning ownership to my kids, and they can do whatever they want. Now, mine are paid up, which means they don't have to put anything else into it. Yours are not. So if someone's going to have to keep paying premiums, and $8 a month, while not much, that's not. I mean, that money for a 30-year-old young man would be better used investing in an investment than the whole life insurance policy for sure. So I would just, so what I'm doing is I'm giving it to them. They can cash it out. If they do cash it out as the owner, people say, but there's a gift tax. There's no gift tax. There's no gift tax because I don't think it'd be worth more than $15,000. And I presume yours is not worth more than $15,000 either. B, even if it were, you have like $5 million gift tax exemption. So it's just not worth worrying about a gift tax. Now, if they were to cash it out, they're going to have to pay some taxes on any gains they have. And I'm wondering what kind of gains they have. Probably won't be much, Roxanne, but that is taxed as ordinary income. So if you, let's say there's $8,000 of cash value and your basis is $6,000, that's how much it costs of all the premiums you accumulated all these years. So they made $2,000 in cash. If they cash it out and you give it to them, that $2,000 is taxable as ordinary income, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. That really cleared it up for me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, look, I'm not telling you not to. The reason I asked about the health of them is my policies with USAA, which is why I like the USA policy. if they can't get underwritten for whatever reason, my policies are that they can increase their coverage by the face amount times 4 without having to go through underwriting. And I can't remember the whole thing. But and I don't know about your policy, but if your kid is not in good health and he can't get life insurance again, you know, it might be beneficial to keep. Let me give you an example. I had one of my best friends. He was in Iraq, captain in a nuclear, an NBC unit, which is chemicals, and he breathed some chemical stuff when he was, I can't remember the story, but when he was in Iraq and they're going whatever. And it messed up one of his lungs, if that makes sense. And so basically he's kind of only has like 1.5 lung. I can't remember the whole story. But he can't get underwritten for life insurance anymore on the private market because of that accident. So for him, you know, he's a young, healthy, well, not young anymore, but he's 40 years old, healthy guy, you know, but he can't get underwritten. So the life insurance he had through the military, which is called SGLI, now it's VGLI, he kept for a little bit just because he did not want to make sure that if he got killed, that his wife would not have any life insurance. The point about that is anytime you're getting ready to get rid of life insurance, you got to make sure that A, there's a good chance that you're not leaving something on the table that you'll never get again. And B, that you're not leaving, and this is more so, this is for everybody, not just your son, but you're not leaving something on the table that could leave a surviving spouse without. Does that make sense at all? Just be careful. I don't want to sound flippant on getting rid of the life insurance, but if he's in good health, he could get a term policy. The life insurance that he's carrying the whole life that you have for him is just not that. It's just not worth very much. That's for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, you got anything else? Or okay.
No, it's just, it's hard to find somebody that's going to give me an honest answer. I mean, if I try to ask the insurance agent, of course, she's not going to tell me honestly because she's not going to want us to
What's the company?
out. Pardon me?
What's the company?
State Farm.
Okay. Yeah. And sad that, but a lot of the State Farm guys don't know that much about it. When I bought mine at Knights of Columbus, you know, I had to sell. The guy didn't know anything. I was like, dude, you're killing me. You're trying to sell me this stuff. And you don't even know what you're selling. I'm here. I'm like literally had to sell him on it because I knew exactly what I wanted. And you know, it's just the sad thing. The State Farm people know property and casualty, but life insurance, they don't know that much. Anyway, so hope that helps.
Yep.
All right, what are you doing, bud? All right, Pablo. I don't know if y'all can see Pablo there, but he is. What are you doing? All right, so let's go here. All right. Oops. All right, cool. So that. What are you doing? No, don't eat that. Oh boy. All right, so we got more. Oops. There we go. Cool. All right. Anybody else have any questions, thoughts, comments? All right, so the hamburger button next to the button plus on the bottom left shows all your tabs. A quick navigate. Ooh, okay, cool. Thanks, Dan. Here he is, star of the show. Hi. You guys want to see something funny? Watch these teeth. Oops. Oops, never mind. He doesn't like that, I guess. Arvin says, hey, Pablo. I'm the star of the show. Look at he's super Pablo. Look how he's got his feet like that. Pablito! How can I love this dog so much? He's just a 13-pound ball of fur. Oh man, spoiled rotten. I texted the lady who was his rescuer or whatever it's called about Pablo at the beach. She goes, man, Pablo has certainly stepped up in his life the last year. I said, yeah. Oh man, this dog's crazy. Do you recommend calculating withdrawal rate against your investment balance or net worth? Investment balance, Arvin, absolutely. Your net worth is not liquid. Some people would use their home. I don't think. Look, I got no qualm with reverse mortgages, but I don't think you should use that. It's not liquid. It's not a liquid asset. So I definitely do it against liquid assets. Liquid assets, if that helps. Let's see. Anything else on here? I guess that's it, friends. So I appreciate you all being here for sure. We learned a couple things today. One is that I did not know that 10-year thing applies. That is fantastic. See, how much did we learn on this? I think I learned 2 things, actually. I did. We learned 2 things. We learned how to do expenses, reducing them on a regular basis through expenses other. So expenses, so it's profile, expenses other. That's a fantastic deal. That is fantastic. I'll be using that forever. We learned as well is that, what else did we learn here from Warren and Bob and somebody else? Right here. So we learned that what Warren said about the inherited IRA for someone who's a non-spouse and less than 10 years, what's that, less than 10 years older? Yes, less than 10 years older. So I got to put it in context. So my sister, I die. That's what I'll say. I die. My sister is 7 years younger than me. I leave my IRA to her, to Abby. She can then inherit that IRA and take it as a over her life expectancy, not the 10-year thing. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. So now Warren said, how would that software deal with that? I don't know, Warren. I don't know how that will do that. You mess around with it. I don't know how to do it because it doesn't ask on inherited IRA. I have assumed that it's gonna make it be exhausted within 10 years. The reason I say it because I don't recall when I've done inherited IRA and Right Capital that it asks if the non-spouse beneficiary who's less than 10 years. Yeah, I don't think it does that. I could be wrong there too. Would not shock me. That'd be 0 for 3 for the night. Yeah. Be swinging and missing, man. Swinging and missing. Like the first 3 times I asked Charlotte to marry me. No, she did not say no. She did say no to a couple of dates when I first asked her. I used to drink a little bit. I don't know if I ever told you all that. I used to be a pretty big drinker. She goes, I don't want to go out as a freaking drinker who's drinking that much. But anyway, so I look at Pablo. Look, you see how he's looking? Hi, Pablo. Watch this. He's looking. Hi, Pablo. Oh my God, I can sit here and do this for all day long, man. Oh my good. Yeah, okay. So Dan says he didn't see anything in Right Capital on the updates about that 10-year thing. So I like Pablo's little teeth in the look at that. Look, man, he I just don't get these. He's got this one whisker like right here. What's that about, man? I don't understand it. You ever seen that National Lampoon article from magazine cover from 1975? They say, buy this magazine or we'll shoot the dog. The dog's like this at the side eye. Oh my goodness, that's totally Pablo. Whenever he gives me a side eye, hi Pablo. Hey Pablo. I love this guy. All right, thanks for being here, guys. If you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, let me know. We'll see you. Thanks, now.